Days of Our Lives Spoilers. Bombshell rocks Salem. The sleepy town of Salem is no stranger to drama. But the week of June 23rd to 27th on Days of Our Lives promises to deliver a heart-wrenching saga that will leave viewers clutching their tissues and gasping in disbelief. At the center of this storm is young Sophia Choi, a high school senior whose life is about to take a turn as dramatic as any soap opera fan could imagine. What begins as a joyous milestone, graduating high school, spirals into a whirlwind of emotional turmoil, shocking revelations, and a paternity mystery that threatens to tear friendships apart and reshape relationships forever. A graduation-turned-crisis. Picture the scene. It's a warm June day, and Salem High's graduating class is gathered in their caps and gowns, beaming with pride as they prepare to toss their hats into the air. Sophia Choi, a bright and ambitious young woman, is among them, her heart full of dreams for the future. But fate has other plans. As the ceremony reaches its peak, Sophia's face contorts in pain. A sharp, unmistakable pang signals the onset of labor. Gasps ripple through the crowd as her classmates and teachers realize what's happening. Sophia, barely able to stand, clutches the arm of her loyal friend Tate Black, who springs into action without a second thought. Tate, a kind-hearted and dependable young man, whisks Sophia away from the chaos of the graduation stage and rushes her to Salem University Hospital. The drive is a blur of anxiety and urgency, with Sophia gripping Tate's hand, her breaths coming in short, panicked bursts. Tate, though terrified himself, stays calm, offering words of encouragement. "You've got this, Sophia," he says, his voice steady despite the fear in his eyes. "We're almost there." For Sophia, the moment is surreal. A mix of physical pain and emotional overwhelm. She had hoped to celebrate her graduation with cake and laughter, not in a hospital gown, facing the daunting reality of childbirth. A birth fraught with trauma at the hospital. The atmosphere is tense. The sterile white walls and beeping monitors do little to ease Sophia's nerves as she's wheeled into the delivery room. Tate remains by her side, holding her hand and wiping the sweat from her brow. The labor is long and grueling, stretching into the night. Sophia, exhausted and frightened, experiences moments of doubt. "I don't know if I can do this," she whispers, tears streaming down her face. Tate, ever her rock, reassures her. "You're stronger than you know. I'm right here with you." The medical team works tirelessly, but complications arise, adding to the drama. At one point, Sophia's blood pressure spikes, causing a flurry of activity among the doctors and nurses. For a heart-stopping moment, it seems as though the worst could happen. Tate, watching helplessly, feels his heart pound in his chest. He's not just a friend in this moment. He's someone who cares deeply for Sophia and the child she's about to bring into the world. After hours of struggle, the room fills with the sound of a baby's cry. Sophia's child is born. A tiny, fragile life that instantly becomes the center of her universe. But the joy of the moment is fleeting. As Sophia cradles her newborn, a shadow of uncertainty looms. The question that has been simmering beneath the surface for months now demands an answer. Who is the father of this child? A paternity puzzle unravels for weeks. Tate has assumed he is the father of Sophia's baby. Their close friendship had briefly blossomed into something more, and though their romantic relationship didn't last, Tate has stood by Sophia throughout her pregnancy. He's attended doctor's appointments, helped her pick out baby clothes, and even practiced breathing exercises with her. To Tate, stepping up as a father feels like the natural next step, a responsibility he's ready to embrace despite his youth. But the Days of Our Lives writers have been dropping subtle hints that things are not as straightforward as they seem. Enter Aaron Green, Tate's best friend and a familiar face who's recently returned to Salem after a stint away. Aaron's reappearance has stirred up old feelings and unresolved tensions, particularly with Sophia. Viewers may recall that Sophia and Aaron shared a complicated history before he left town, a history that included a fleeting but passionate connection. Could that connection have resulted in Sophia's pregnancy? As Sophia recovers in the hospital, the truth begins to surface. Whispers and sidelong glances hint at a secret she's been keeping. Tate, still reeling from the intensity of the birth, notices Sophia's unease when Aaron's name comes up in conversation. His heart sinks as a nagging suspicion takes hold. Has Sophia been hiding something from him all along? The possibility that Aaron, his best friend, could be the father of Sophia's child feels like a betrayal of the highest order. A friendship on the brink, the tension comes to a head when Aaron visits the hospital to see Sophia and the baby. He's visibly emotional, his eyes lingering on the tiny bundle in Sophia's arms. "She's beautiful," he says softly, his voice thick with unspoken feelings. Tate, standing nearby, picks up on the subtext. The air crackles with unspoken questions as the two young men lock eyes. Aaron, sensing the need to clear the air, pulls Tate aside. "Tate, there's something you need to know," Aaron begins, his voice hesitant. He confesses that he and Sophia were briefly involved before he left Salem, and the timing aligns with Sophia's pregnancy. Tate's face darkens as the pieces fall into place. "You're telling me you might be the father?" he demands, his voice rising. Aaron doesn't deny it, his silence speaking volumes. The confrontation escalates quickly. Tate, feeling blindsided, unleashes his anger. "You're my best friend, Aaron. How could you let me go through all this thinking I was the father?" His words are laced with hurt, the sting of betrayal cutting deep. Aaron tries to explain, insisting he only recently realized the possibility himself. But Tate isn't ready to listen. The hospital hallway, usually a place of quiet recovery, becomes the stage for a heated argument that draws the attention of nurses and visitors. Sophia, overhearing the commotion, is devastated. She knows she should have been honest from the start, but fear of losing both Tate and Aaron kept her silent. Now, her worst fears are coming true. Tears well in her eyes as she watches the two most important people in her life at odds over her child. The weight of her secret threatens to crush her, and she wonders if she'll ever be able to repair the damage. A love triangle rekindled? For Aaron, the revelation that he might be the father stirs a mix of emotions. On one hand, he's overwhelmed by the responsibility of potential fatherhood. On the other, he sees it as a chance to reconnect with Sophia. Before leaving Salem, Aaron had considered ending their relationship, unsure if he was ready for something serious. But seeing Sophia with her newborn daughter reignites feelings he thought he'd buried. Could this be a sign that they're meant to be a family? Aaron's hopes are complicated by Sophia's lingering feelings for Tate. Though their romance fizzled, Sophia has leaned heavily on Tate's support during her pregnancy, and their bond has deepened. The idea of hurting Tate further breaks her heart, but she can't ignore the pull she feels toward Aaron. As the week unfolds, viewers can expect a classic Days of Our Lives love triangle to take shape, with Sophia caught between two young men who both want to be part of her and her child's life. What's next for Salem? As the week of June 23rd to 27th draws to a close, the fallout from Sophia's baby Bombshell will continue to reverberate through Salem. A paternity test looms on the horizon, promising to deliver answers that will either mend or shatter the fragile relationships at stake. Will Tate be confirmed as the father, solidifying his role in Sophia's life? Or will Aaron's claim prove true, setting the stage for a new family dynamic and a bitter rift with Tate? Episode air date: Wednesday, June 18th, 2025. On this poignant June morning in Salem, Days of Our Lives delivered a stirring, emotional, and deeply nostalgic episode. One that tugged at the heartstrings of longtime viewers and reminded us of why Bo and Hope Brady have long been the soul of this beloved series. Their story came full circle today as they professed their eternal love, remarried in a heartfelt, private ceremony, and prepared to leave town hand in hand with their past behind them and their future uncertain but undeniably united. For fans who have grown old with these characters and who understand what it means to love through decades of heartache, separation, reunion, and everything in between, this episode was more than a storyline. It was a tribute. A love letter to enduring romance, to family, to the simple yet profound moments that define a life. Breakfast in bed and the morning after a lifetime. The episode opens at the Horton house, iconic and instantly familiar, with Hope bringing Bo breakfast in bed. The air is soft with morning light and their tender smiles speak volumes. This isn't just breakfast, it's a celebration. After a passionate night, reunited in both body and soul, Hope's quiet joy is matched only by Bo's reverent disbelief. The love of his life is truly in his arms again. Hope teases him gently about Julie's brand new oven, which leads Bo to ask the kind of question that hints at the deeper story. Why the renovations? That's when Hope quietly, sadly, tells him about the fire. The one that damaged the house and nearly consumed generations of memories. The mention of the fire is more than just plot, it's metaphorical. It reminds us of what was nearly lost, what had to be rebuilt, and what, miraculously, survived. A glimpse into the past, Tom and Alice's legacy. As Hope speaks, we flash back through a beautiful sepia-toned scene to the early days of Tom and Alice Horton, the original anchors of the show. Tom is beaming as he tells Alice that their daughter Addie is expecting. They're going to be grandparents. It's a quiet moment, yet deeply emotional, especially for viewers who have watched the Horton family grow over generations. The house, now damaged and mended, still holds these memories in its walls. The return to the present is just as touching. Bo is full of regret, realizing all he missed. Hope, ever the peacemaker, tells him he was with her in spirit even when he couldn't be physically. But there's a soft pain in her voice as she mentions her father, Doug. She wishes he could have seen this, seen them reunited, seen them in love again. Bo puts his hand over hers and tells her something we all feel: Doug knows. And somehow he's watching. From somewhere. Generations gathered, the fullness of time. They make their way downstairs and Bo is overwhelmed. The Horton house, once almost destroyed, now feels exactly as he remembers it. But not quite. Some things, he says, are irreplaceable. His eyes catch a certain spot and we are gifted another flashback, this time to a very young Hope making a scrapbook for her grandmother. And then to an adult Hope reading aloud the love letter she once wrote to Bo on their wedding day. The years roll back. We are reminded of the weight of history, of all they've endured. The audience, particularly those who've watched the show for decades, understand this not just as nostalgia, but as lived experience. We were there when Hope wrote that letter. We cried with her. Hope then shows Bo something incredible, the family time capsule. It had been opened by their daughter Sierra. Inside were tokens, photos, and letters, treasures from generations past. Alice and Tom were everywhere in it, just as they are everywhere in the house. Their legacy lives on in every beam and corner. The grandparent reveal and a full-circle moment as they cuddle on the couch. Bo is still amazed. He can't believe they're grandparents now, 4 grandchildren. Hope, amused and loving, asks him if he's ready to be a full-time grandfather. Bo chuckles, calling himself the bad seed. After all, she's the teenage granddaughter of the town's most revered doctor, and he's Bo. But Hope laughs and tells him he's more than enough. He always was. Then comes a beautiful twist of fate. Hope's Christmas ornament, the very one she received when she was pregnant with Sean, survived the fire. Bo is stunned. It's a miracle, really. And from there, another memory, the birth of Sean, their first child, and Hope telling Alice she was expecting. The circle is complete. Once, they were young lovers with a baby on the way. Now, they are the matriarch and patriarch of a growing family. And somehow, even after all the storms, they are together. The goodbye ceremony. A vow beyond paper. Then comes the moment no fan is truly ready for. There's no church, no priest, no pomp. Just Bo and Hope, alone under the canopy of Salem's sky, holding hands, speaking vows only they need to hear. They remarry themselves, not for the law, but for love. For closure. For forever. I never stopped loving you, Bo says. I never stopped waiting for you, Hope replies. They promise each other, not just for today, not just for tomorrow, but for all the days they have left. And when they leave the house, hands clasped tightly, the weight of decades behind them, we understand. This isn't an end. It's the beginning of peace. A love that endures. More than soap, it's family. For older viewers who have followed Bo and Hope since the 1980s. This episode was more than just television. It was a chapter of their own lives. It reminded us that love is not always perfect, that time is never promised, but that reunion, true reunion, is worth the wait. It reminded us of family dinners, Christmas ornaments, laughter through tears, and the feeling of being home. It showed us that some houses are more than buildings. They are living memory. They are the beating heart of a family. And most of all, it reminded us of the timeless truth that even when we grow old, love doesn't. It stays young. It stays hopeful.